Let me speak to you and tell you something about the spirit. Since it is the subject of spiritualism that I speak about and that I write my books on, spirit is the essence, it's the study of spiritualism. It's the all in all. It is to know what this spirit is. In a broader sense, it is the life energy. It is the vital, crucial power of life. It is that wakefulness which makes the mechanical mind, the operating system in the body, decode and decipher of what we know. And like Google will tell you, it is the essence of our being. It is the ground of our being, etc., etc. But what exactly is it? What is the role does it play? How does it connect to us? Very often we hear this phrase body, mind and spirit, or body, mind and soul. Body and mind, as you know, most of us are aware. But when it comes to the spirit or the soul, science seems to have no idea about it. It just does not know what awakens the mind. They know that the information is passing on from one section to the other after it picks up signals through its electromagnetic current created by chemical activity and things like that. Okay, done. It knows to that extent. But how does it decipher? How does it decode? Who's sitting inside to decode that for you? The signals flowing through neural pathways via neurons. Who is that? Spiritualism gives this answer. Science needs to verify all that it declares. Spiritualism simply prophesizes. Philosophically, it remains mystical until the time science proves that philosophy. Like, for example, quantum physics, law of conservation of energy. All that exists is energy, according to science today. All that exists is energy, which is constant, indivisible, which can neither be created nor destroyed. However, within itself, lots of changes take place that are interchangeable, say from nuclear, electrical, hydro, thermal, psychic, interchanging from one to another. So, within which all interchangeable changes takes place, but on its own, energy is unchanging. It's the only ingredient. What is energy? It's power, nothing but power. vibrating in different frequencies. Now, this was all told to us thousands of years back by the Vedas, for which most of the pioneers of quantum physics have been inspired and have given credit to the Vedas. So, as per spiritualism, the decoding, the deciphering factor in the mind is thou art that, is tattvam asi, is shivoham, aham brahmasmi. Aham brahmasmi. Aham means I am. Brahmasmi means spiritual conscious energy. So it was declared that you are a spiritual being going through a human experience. Whereas the unfortunate part is, most of us are aware of the body and mind, but nobody cares about the spirit. Yet claims that I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual, I'm very spiritual. Most of everybody starts claiming I'm spiritual. Just because they've read a few books or they've heard a few lectures here and there without understanding, they start claiming that I'm spiritual. And what happens? So, Aham Brahmasmi, I am spiritual conscious energy. I am that spirit. I am that spirit. And the spirit is the highest attribute of energy. The lowest attribute of energy is that energy moves in entropy, second law of thermodynamics, in entropy, randomly and recklessly. Multitasking like in the case of thoughts, here and there, into this and that, for its likes and dislikes, purely for its me and mine. Purely for its me and mine. So, energy moves in random. As waves of energy. And the spirit is the highest attribute. All other aspects of energy are dual. They relate to the mind in opposites, in duality. God and the devil, truth and lie, positive, negative, day and night, heat and cold, etc., etc. Mind cannot relate without the opposites. It cannot choose what it wants without comparing the opposites. So, the mind with its thoughts can function only in duality. Since energy is indivisible, it can only separate into its two extremes of, say, truth and lie, positive and negative, into its extremes. It can only separate the oneness of the highest attribute of energy that is absolute, pure, non-dual, which is not in duality. It can only separate, the mind can only separate the energy into extreme ends of truth and lie, male and female. Every energy has to be separated for the mind to decide. But the spirit is unchanging. The mind is lost in the past, stuck in the future, past and the future, forgetting the third quotient, the present moment. It cannot be in the present moment for long. Howsoever you may try through meditation, howsoever you may do whatever methods, techniques, practices, whatever you may do, unconsciously, the mind, yes, can be in the present moment for some time. Like you are under awe, sitting on the beach, admiring the sunset, and you forget the time that you have been sitting there. The past and future vanishes and you are just in awe with the present moment. You are in that spiritual zone at that time, not in the mental zone. Because the moment you come into the mental zone, you will start comparing, say, the sunset from yesterday, or you'll start evaluating, analyzing the color of the sun, the color of the waves, the velocity of the waves and things like that. And you'll start relating one to another. So, spirit is that aware conscious energy which makes the mind aware, and after that it becomes conscious to attach and flows via thoughts through past awareness in subconscious manner and conscious through awareness. As per neuroscientists today, over 98% of the mind does not require consciousness. Mind functions unconsciously from past awareness in a subconscious manner from its memory and intellect. It does not require consciousness. And that is why there is so much of chaos, mess and misery in this world. Because we are ignoring the spirit. We are not conscious of what we are doing. Multitasking all the time. Even while listening to this video, your mind must be going here and there because you may not be a serious seeker of this subject and you've just switched it on for the sake of switching it on, just to know as to who is this guy and what the hell is he speaking. Who's interested in the spirit? So the ancient sages of the yesteryears and Vedas were very smart. They separated the subject also into two. Parvidya and Aparvidya. Aparvidya, knowledge of the world. Parvidya, knowledge of the spirit. Knowledge of the self. Because spirit is who you are, not body and mind. Not body and mind. Body and mind is a mechanical system. Condensed energy. Whereas spirit is the divine eternal energy as to who you are. When it enters the mind, meaning when the cosmic energy enters the mind, it settles and resides there in the unconscious zone, referred to as the soul, where there are no thoughts. Unconscious zone means there are no thoughts in that mind. So the spirit settles in the soul and the soul is individualized, and if it is awakened, now the word used is awakened. There are no methods, techniques, practices to awaken the spirit or the soul. Sorry, to activate the soul. You can only awaken it. You can only awaken it. It is already that divine. Neither does it incarnate, nor does it reincarnate. It is transpersonal, meaning it is not personal. It is impartial. It does not relate to your mind in any way in choosing for its self-interest. It is fully impartial. That is why it is the divine. And why is it the supreme energy, which the sages referred to as Para Brahman, meaning Par means beyond, Brahman means energy. Beyond Brahman, Par Atma. Par means beyond, Atma means consciousness, beyond consciousness. Parameshwar, beyond Par, beyond God. So this supreme energy is beyond of all beyond, the spirit. And that is what you have, for which you have been accredited as the Thou art that, Tattvamasi. Shivoham, you are the Shiva, you are the God. The creator and the creation are the same. You have the creator sitting inside, silently, because the supreme energy is not aware of itself, but it makes the mind aware. It's not aware. Even when it is in the universe, it is in shunya, in dark energy. Only when it vibrates in various frequencies that it starts to awaken in some form or the other. So the spirit is that aware energy settled in your mind. And the role that it plays is that it is that witness. It is that who you are, which witnesses your mind and its thoughts. That is why you say my mind and my thoughts. It is the witness, and when it settles in the soul, it becomes the witnesser, the observing self. And science is coming pretty near to it from the observer effect, where it says that observation creates your reality, influences your reality. It is through observation that everything becomes real to you. Meaning, it is through observation that you become aware. You become aware. And the NESS, the suffix attached to aware, is awareness. The degree of that awareness within your mind. The presence of awareness is who you are. The presence of consciousness in the mind is what you are. In quantum, it is the content, it is the object and the subject, the context is the awareness. Awareness does not require consciousness, because consciousness cannot prevail without awareness. So, awareness is who you are. And the mind is in disorder. Energy flows in disorder, in entropy. What does the mind do? The body is controlled by the mind, but the mind is checked and guided by that supreme energy, that divine energy is checked and guided merely through witnessing. Merely through witnessing. When the mind witnesses through its superconscious level, the superconscious section or zone of the mind, where no thoughts prevail, it is silent. And the spirit sitting inside the soul is purely witnessing. The conscious and the subconscious mind becomes shy. Like when you start staring at somebody, that person will become shy and aware and conscious. And there'll be a pause. Likewise, your own mind becomes aware and conscious, and it starts to think, focused, centered on what it is doing, whether it's favorable or unfavorable. So, spirit is that awareness, that non-dual, that unchanging supreme energy, the highest attribute of energy, which triggers the mind, which it is that wakefulness through which you know what is there in the universe, because the universe exists only because you are aware. God exists only because you are aware of it. You're aware that there is something supreme above the mind, something supreme above us, on which you rely upon. Whether it is the form of human God, whether it is like the Hindus pray to any rock, any tree, any river, any mountain, because everything is energy and everything is absolute. It is through the absolute energy within which all things emanate, appear and disappear. It is the substratum of all that exists, and underlying that substratum is energies, multiple subset energies which appear and disappear back into it. And this absolute energy is constant, indivisible, unchanging, whereas the subset energies keep changing and interchanging within themselves. Whether it's the planet, whether it's the stars, whether it's the subatomic particles, whether it's the sun, whether it's the moon, they will all come and disappear one day. But the dark energy, the absolute energy, the shunya, the bliss, the equilibrium in the absolute energy is eternal. It will remain as it is. That will not disappear. That will not disappear. So, please remember, if you are a spiritual seeker, please try to not study but understand. Understanding is the most important. What the spirit is, what role does it play, how can we make our lives better by knowing the spirit in order to become spiritual, for the sake of that oneness and absoluteness of what the spirit is, where the mind has separated the energies into its extremes, how to bring it closer back towards its equilibrium as much as possible, because that will provide peace and tranquility. You may have all the wealth, comfort, knowledge, health, family, friends. But if you are not aware of the spirit, there will always be something amiss. You will not have that long-term peace of mind, that tranquility, that calmness within yourself to face all situations, all circumstances with a smile on your face and accept it as it comes, where no problem will be taken as a problem but as a challenge for you to sort it out with a stable mind, a consistent mind.